The Nastycollective podcast. Yeah, I said the Nastycollective podcast. What we talking about?
Welcome back, ladies and gents of the world, to the Nastycollective podcast. Now, we've been running through these motherfucking podcasts, you feel me? We've been getting this shit in all year long, so I appreciate everybody watching. But today, we got a reoccurring fucking special guest, the man of the hour, out here putting in the work, hustling for y'all. We got the fucking movement maker, Gifo, man. What's up, yo? How you doing?
What's up, man? Good, dude. Three times.
Three times?
Three times.
We got three hitter?
3-time appearances.
Hey, but it's all good because the only thing about reoccurring is trying to make sure we get new information to the audience. Yeah. Whether it be like just new content or different questions, you know?
Yeah.
So as an interviewer myself, it's stressful because I'm like, fuck, I don't want to ask the same question to you, you know?
Yeah, I mean, but you know, some of those questions maybe make sense to get asked again, but
that's true. Yeah, because it obviously has some change to it. But you know, first question up to bat. Tell the people a little bit about who you are. Even though you've been on here, we're probably gonna have some new viewers watching this shit. So you know, introduce them to who Gifo is.
So, my name is Gifo. I've been making music now, coming up on 14 years or so from the first song that I ever recorded. So I've been doing it kind of for a while, right? It makes me sound old, but I'm not that old yet. Experienced, right? That's a good word for it. But, and yeah, man, I think how I would describe me as an artist right now is what my focus is to make music that people not only want, but that they need maybe, right? Like something that really touches them or that strikes a chord with them. So, yeah, I think that's the kind of artist that I am right now.
Yeah, and genre-wise, hip-hop, rap?
Hip-hop, rap, definitely. No mistaking it for those things. Yeah.
But you definitely want to venture into like different areas and stuff. And
sure. I mean,
or how you feel about that?
I do. I like to think that what I'm making now is stuff that people that like a variety of genres could digest. Like, it's not just hip hop for people that only want hip hop, right? Maybe it's for people that maybe dabble a little bit, or maybe they don't know if they like it. But if they heard this, the stuff that I've been working on now, I think it's something that people that like a lot of genres could gravitate to. So I think it's just more digestible, and just it has a more it's casting a broader net, I think maybe would be a good way to put it. So
yeah. And when you go out there and you perform and stuff, do you see the different kind of audience, you know, I guess person out there that like you're like, oh shit, I didn't really think this fool would be listening to kind of my kind of music.
Sure. I mean, doing local like live shows, I think you get a weird crowd sometimes, right? Like especially when you're first getting your chops up, because the people that come to those events are not like necessarily fans of like whoever the headliner is or like of hip hop at all. Maybe they're just people that support somebody that's trying to do it, you know, this is one of their first shows, or they're trying to get their chops up. So you'll get people's moms at a show, or like their cousin, or like a coworker that just wants to support that person because they just fuck with that person. So yeah, there's been shows that have had like a kind of a crazy range, and like that changes the more that you get into it, or maybe you develop your own following or whatever it is, right? Like that'll change. But I've definitely done shows where you see people there that you're like, wow, I'm surprised they're at a hip hop show, and they fuck with it. I've had people come up to me after shows like I just would never expect. They're like, I really like that. Or even at like Saturday in the Park, you get such a range of people there. Like I had like just random people coming up to me last year. I had a fireman come up to me.
Oh
like,
shit,
that was awesome, man. I was
and he knows about fires, so I mean,
yeah, he does, man.
He's an expert at it.
Yeah, he didn't try to put me out.
That's true. That's true. But with all that being said, you know, you have these years of experience in this field, performing, doing all this music and stuff like that. Yeah. Throughout this whole field and throughout becoming or being an artist and becoming an artist, in that time zone, in that time stretch of being that, have you found yourself like maybe hitting a wall or just a moment where you're like, you know what, maybe this isn't it, and maybe like let me turn paths into like a different kind of career?
Yeah.
And then like from that moment, what made you be like, you know what, no, I'm staying on the train and I'm riding the tracks?
I think a lot of people hit that because maybe you've done a lot of the things that you could do where you're at. Like, you know, you experienced like that, the little bit of a soft cap on like local exposure or like opportunities. But honestly, dude, I was just talking about this with a friend yesterday. Maybe it was this morning. It's hard, dude. I'm always fucking tired as fuck. But I don't know, dude. Like, I don't know if I necessarily felt that deeply ever. Like, maybe there's been discouraging moments that were like brief, but like, honestly, no, I don't feel like that at all. Cause, I mean, fuck, dude. If this, like, we don't even have to think regionally. Like, we could just think just in town here, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if 1,000, 2,000 people here have seen me perform, like, that's not even close to half of the fucking town, right? Like, and that's just Sioux City alone. There's so many, like, other markets in this region, right, that you can think about too. So, or even online, right? Like,
Right, the millions and millions.
There's so many people out there that you could reach, right? I never really feel like that. I just try to focus on the art, number one, like just making the music, right? Like,
yeah,
and just like focusing on doing that, because that's how it all started. Like, the other stuff is important and critical too if you want growth, but it all started just me wanting to like express myself, right? So focus on that, but then also, like, yeah, I do want to get more fans or like expose my music through marketing or through shows or whatever to more people, but I try to just take care of and focus on the people that I do have, right? Like, and just keep those interactions like authentic, keep those genuine, keep that dialogue with the people that follow or support me, like, just intimate, right? Like, because they're with me. Like, I don't know, I just try to carry that, and that just keeps me going, right? Like, there's always going to be people who, like, no matter what, they're just not going to like you because you're you. They're not going to support.
Yeah.
They're not going to support what you do. And maybe you deserve it, maybe you don't, right? Like, but, like, fuck those people. Like, not fuck them, because obviously, you know, I don't want it to be like that forever. Like,
right.
I don't want people out here hating me for no reason, right? Like, or if there's a conversation we could have or whatever it is, but I'm not worried about them at all. Like, if you don't like me or you don't respect what I do, or, you know, you think whatever you think, right? Like, yeah, that's fine. Like, you're entitled to that, and I don't need to cater to you or like try to impress you at all, because I'm not for you, obviously.
You're catering to the rest of the masses.
Yeah, to the people that do, or that are receptive, or that maybe want to hear what I have to say, whatever it is. Like, to them, you know, that's where my attention's at. And so I never feel like I hit a wall or whatever, because, like, there isn't one. You know?
That's a good way to, that's a good way to fucking see that shit too.
There just isn't one. So, yeah, I've been, like I said, there have been discouraging moments or like things that bothered me, or like maybe I felt slighted, but it's just, don't take it personal. You know, it's not personal.
Yeah, like I say sometimes, nobody's bigger than the program.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, shit, with or without you, this shit gonna keep rolling.
It is.
So you might as well be a part of it if you're down, but if not, then shit, keep it stepping too, you know? But that's just the hard truths of the world, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. It's simple as that.
Because sometimes, like, you know, we're out here and we tell everybody to keep going and your passions and stuff, but, like, I will say, like, sometimes they say, like, oh, you going to make some money filming, that's some easy shit. But then you're not thinking about me sitting down for the hours and me fucking up at these jobs and fucking up at those jobs and learning from that shit. So it's like the experience, and like, you know, I just think that we put a lot of time into our work. So if you do fail at this shit, it's because you didn't keep going, you know? Like, like, you have yourself to blame in situations like this, because you have to. It's like everything is based off yourself. Right now, if you weren't straight, mentally, if you weren't straight in your life or whatever it is, and you quit, Gifo's done. You know.
Yeah.
So like same thing with Nastycollective. If I'm not straight, Nastycollective's done for now at least. But that's why it's like it's so important to really know like who you should cater to, what the friend groups you're in, you know, who you surround yourself around. Different things like this is always great. Like whenever I step out with you to like an event or some shit like that, it's always a great time, you know. It's like it's a good vibe I'm getting, and when I see like Johnny Marr on the fucking stage, bro, shit go crazy. Yeah. So it's always like great to know that the community you're building around you, or the community that is just around you, make it be a good one, I guess, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's up to you to build it, right? You get to decide who's in your life or, like, who's not, or what you surround yourself with, and, like, you know, it's, like, a cliche, but that's just who you become. Like, so you have to be selective, and it's an overused phrase, but it's, like, I actually hate this phrase, but it is real. I just hate it because people say it so much, but it's like protect your peace. But like that is real. But it's like
I fuck with that heavy. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, it's just you know, it's one of those things people say all the time, but it's so true. And I think the reason I hate it is because people will say that and then do some like toxic ass shit,
right?
And it's like just justifying, or what do they say, validating it. Like I don't know, but yeah, dude. I think. It's important, man. Like, and you do learn over time, and I think people don't, you know, like in your case, like you spend a lot of time fucking editing, right? Like, it's not just making the time to go show up and shoot it, and then it's like, oh, I'm just piecing this shit together. It's like you're taking a lot of time to do different things and work these clips into your magic, like, and make it what it is, right? And I think people just have to get better about, you know, respecting people's time and understanding, like, I don't know, maybe even though for some people it's hard to like understand that, or like they don't do, and if you don't do anything, right, like you just go to work, go home, go to the bar on the weekend, rinse, slather, repeat, like, you know, you don't understand like some of the sacrifices that people make because they're doing that same thing, right? Going to work, going home, taking care of their kids, spending time with their family, whatever, but also doing these other things.
Like a cliche you hear is, let's say like in the dating life, like a woman will say, I want an entrepreneur so then we can like travel more, like be together more, you know? But at the end of the day, the awful truth is that if they're an entrepreneur, they're probably spending more time on the business.
They have to
get into that shit, you know, because they are the boss of the, you know? So like that's the you know, catch-22 type of shit of that. Because, like, you can be the boss, but in order to become the boss of that system, you have to spend the time, you have to do the sacrifices, you know, and that shit does matter, you know. But when you have the passion like this, sometimes, you know, spending those hours is kind of like, what else would I be doing? So it's like, you know, literally going through all these trials and tribulations. I know it takes, you know, a certain man to have to deal with all that. So... and building the person that you are, one thing that I bet affects you a lot is your religion, right?
Sure.
Or at least has an effect on you, I should say. Can you tell me a little bit about like what your kind of belief is right now and like how it affects you as a man in this world?
Yeah, man. So, I mean, it's simple. Like I was lost before, right? And, you know, these things just started, the seed just got planted, like, you know, probably like maybe a year ago or so, right? And just like friends in my life that like did that were believers that had faith, like they would just like, you know, say little things to me all the time, like, you know, you have a streak with your homie on Snap maybe or some shit, right? And they snap you every morning, good morning, God bless, something like that, right? Little things like that. But like, man, I was so lost that would irritate me, that they would say shit like that to me. I would be like, shut the fuck up. I'd be like, quit snapping me stuff like this, dude. Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And they just refused to stop doing it. They were like, no, I'm not going to stop doing it. Like, and like just little things like that were the first seeds, right? And then, you know, like different podcasts, like I would hear people kind of like give their testimony or like talk about things, touch on like what their faith did for them or whatever. And it was weird. It was just like, for some reason, I would just pay attention when they were talking about that. I actually grew up in church. My grandma would take me to church every Sunday. I would go like Wednesdays. And, there's a lot of structure to my life when, like at this point in my life when I was a little kid.
Right.
So it was good for me, I think, that I did that, right? But it just got to the point when I was in like 9th or 10th grade, maybe like 14, 15, kind of right around when I started making music.
Shit.
I just stopped going. Like my mom just couldn't get me to go no more. We moved to another state. And we went to church as a family, like me, my mom, and my brother at first when I first got there. And it was a really good church. They were really like sweet people, really nice people. They helped us out. Like they knew my mom was a single mom. We just moved there. So like I remember at Christmas they like gave us some money for Christmas presents and stuff. Like they were really nice people. But like you're like 14, 15, like my mom couldn't control what I did, right? Like it was just her, and we were in this new place. She had to work, so I just did whatever I wanted at a certain point. Once I realized that I could just do whatever I wanted, I just kind of did it. I just kind of did that, yeah. But anyways, like long story short, these little things like just started compiling, and I think God tries to talk to all of us, right? Like especially if you already knew him. But we like are so used to this instant gratification like in this world, and I think people I don't know, maybe they expect like a voice in their head to tell them something, but that's not what happens, right? Like you have to pay attention, and those things are happening all the time. He's always trying to tell you something, like whether it's you see something outside, right? Like, or for some reason you change it to a radio station and there's like something there like that maybe you needed to hear that, or it jogs like your memory, or it's like sparks an idea in your head, like, but it's always there, right? You just have to understand what the source is, which is hard, right? Especially if you're not like tuned into that. Yeah. Then it's hard to understand what that source is. And like little things just started becoming like obvious to me and apparent to me that there was a message that I was being given if I would just take it, right? It was right there. And so I did, and I was just going through like a hard time with some personal things, and I just called out to God, like, like I just want to know what's my purpose, like just help me understand, right? Or like show me.
Ask for the path.
I'm ready to receive the message, like whatever it is. Okay. And months went by after that. I never went back to church. Not that much changed, other than just me kind of like entertaining these ideas and these thoughts, and just having this like feeling or like this desire like that I needed something more. But it was there. I was ready, but it didn't come right away. And then months went by, and one day I just woke up and I was just doing my usual routine on Sunday morning. I would just go to the gym like first thing when I woke up, and I went and I called my wife when I was done, and I was like, do you want to go to church today? And we never had gone to church as a family or even as a couple before the kids. And she was like, sure. She was, yeah, whatever. And so we went, and we've been every Sunday since, every Wednesday since. And I just was able to get my own relationship established, with God, through Jesus. And that was it for me, right? Like it just started clicking in my head, like what was important, what mattered to me, right? Like what I didn't need anymore, like the excess stuff that doesn't matter, like it just needs to go. And I just did what was necessary to do, right? Like to make that happen. And just asked questions, and I was lucky that there was I actually ended up going back to the church I grew up in. It's in a new building. It's a different pastor, but a lot of the same people make up the church still. and they just took me in. Like, you know, I was nervous. Like, a lot of people, you know, you get nervous. You're like, church people judging.
I think that's like everything with anything.
Right.
You know, skate park with the fucking skaters.
Right, maybe, you know, whatever when you're new at something, you're nervous about
what they're gonna say
or what they're gonna think.
How they're gonna think of me.
And having led the life that I led as an adult young man, like I felt ashamed, but like I was right to, right, like, because I wasn't living right. I wasn't taking care of myself or people that I cared about or anything. Like, I just wasn't leading like I should, or being the man that I needed to be.
That's a key word, leading.
Yeah.
You know, type shit, because you're really setting an example, like, after you, you know?
Sure, yeah, I have 2 boys. So it was important to me to become the man that I needed to be, like, and, you know, I don't think that would have been possible without Jesus, or without my relationship with that and my faith in that belief. So it did a lot for me, and I think it had an impact, not only just in a personal way, but, you know, I was pretty conflicted, you know, about continuing with making music, right, with rapping, right. I'm not perfect, I swear, right, like I'm not a perfect person by any means, but there's always going to be room for me to grow on a personal level, on a spiritual level, on many levels, right? But I was conflicted. Like, am I going to keep making rap music? Am I going to keep, you know, going to these like live music venues where people are drinking, doing drugs,
being outside,
right? Like, yeah. And I was pretty torn up about it, man. Like, because it was a huge tension point for me, like trying to establish my faith and being the type of person that I feel like I needed to be.
So what made you lean to the scale of like, you know what, I'm still gonna perform, I'm still gonna come out, even though like obviously not indulging in like the worst things you could, you know, while being out, but I mean at least being out performing? It's
about discernment, and it's about self-control, right? Like, I can control myself to not drink or not do drugs or not do things that, like, I don't believe in, right? Like, that's easy. That part, for me, is easy. Like, I can stop myself from that. But, like, how do I make it worthwhile, right? Like, well, it's just by having these conversations right here, right? Like, that's how it's worthwhile. Like, like I come from this world of these things. Like, I came from that to this, so I can take pieces of this there and leave those, right? Even if I'm not gonna ever be preachy on anybody at a show, right? I'm not gonna force my message on you, right? You don't have to stand there and listen to me talk, rap, whatever, right? But all I can do is share my testimony and like what it means to me, what it's done for me, and if that touches somebody, like, then that was my purpose. Like, it was fulfilled right there, right? Like, whatever that is, it's just a small part, right? It's just, I'm just playing one small part. I'm just serving him. That's it.
Yeah.
By doing that. And maybe I'm rationalizing it in my mind, and maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe he'll show me that I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I just have to have faith in that process and like how that relationship works. But for now, I feel confident that like this project, it means something to me, and maybe it can mean something to somebody else. And
tell me a little bit about this project.
So it's called Shine.
Shine.
I've been working on it.
Damn.
I've been working on it for 6-7 months maybe.
Ah, shit.
And it started just like as many other things have. Like, I didn't know. I wrote one song and I was like, I like the song. Wrote another one. I was like, we might be onto something.
Yeah.
This music means a lot to me because it's just more personal, right? Like, it's just me sharing things that are personal for me about being just the person that I am, right? Like, what it took for me or what it means to me just like this conversation now. It's basically carrying on this conversation in that way.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like it really has some value. Not only are people going to enjoy it and be entertained by the music, but it has a value to it that you can take something away from it, and maybe it is serving some small purpose, right? Like, because it's just all for him, so it doesn't matter. I don't want anything out of it other than just to touch people's heart and just like have something to take away from it. That's it. Mm-hmm. So, and that's what I was kind of alluding to earlier, that I think makes it like I'm casting a broader net, because I'm gonna reach more people just based off of like the authenticity of what I'm talking about, right? Like, I think it's hard to truly touch people with your music when you don't open up, right? And I haven't been super open like in a lot of my music that I've made over the years, like some, very little, right? Probably, right? Pieces of it. And people might fuck with the music still, yeah, like, you know, and still like it, and that's cool. But I just feel like the way that I rationalized it, or the way that it is clear to me now, I think is that, like, if I'm gonna be doing this, if I want to do live music, if I want to make hip-hop music, if I want to be my authentic self, like, then there's a compromise that has to be made, right?
Okay.
That I'm not serving myself anymore with the music. Like, it's not for me anymore. I'm not doing it for me anymore. Like, it has to be more than that for me to keep doing it. And that's kind of how I came to terms with the dilemma of of continuing or not continuing.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear this.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, maybe I'm making it sound like it's this like grandiose, like preachy, like religious project. It's not, right? Like, it's just me talking about my life, sharing my testimony of my life.
That's cool to see the thought behind it all, though. Like,
yeah,
even though like each song could be its own meaning, but just to see like behind the whole curtains and stuff on kind of like what the thought process is, you know?
Yeah, it's not a gospel record. It's not
right.
It's not that. And I was really lucky to work with really awesome people on it. The whole thing has been engineered by Reno. Shout out to Reno.
Shout out Reno.
You know, we developed a great rapport, had a good working relationship with like just our chemistry, and the dynamic of us working together. Mm-hmm. And I got contributions from Reno and my friend Elvis Phillips on the production.
Okay, dope.
So there's a lot of like live guitar, live piano and stuff on there that you'll hear.
Oh, you're not crazy with the instrumentals?
Yeah, throughout. Ooh. Like, you'll hear these pieces that those guys wrote and played.
Nice.
So that I was blessed to have them help me, and
dope as fuck.
Yeah, and shout out to my boy Jeremy. My boy Jeremy Mahaney, dude. I sent him like the early version of the album, just to listen to, like, as a neutral party, right? Like, I was like, yo, this is something I put together.
Yeah.
Can you listen to it and just, when you get time, and just tell me what you think about it? And he genuinely took that task to heart and, like, sat down, listened to each song, and then wrote me, like, responses to each song. Like,
nice.
Just, like, typed it all out.
Best kind of people.
Yeah. And then he actually suggested the arrangement that I ended up going with. I had the songs arranged in, like, completely different order. Mm. And that was something that I was kind of hung up on. Like, damn, like, I want this to tell the story a certain way. Or, you know, I want it to be consumed a certain way. Yeah. And then he was like, well, have you thought about this order? I didn't even really ask him. He was just like, you should try this order. And I was like, damn, that's the one. So
he's got to be hired as an advisor.
Yeah. Shouts out to him, dude. I really appreciate that. And yeah, I think the collaboration on this project means a lot too, right? Because, like, I was able to work with two amazingly creative minds with Reno and Elvis. Mm-hmm. Elvis is, like, my favorite guitar player of all time, easily. And, you know, Reno doesn't get enough credit for, like, all the talent that he really has when it comes to, like, if he sets his mind to something, he can do whatever he wants. you know.
The kid's just a badass.
He's just a badass motherfucker.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, that's really exciting for me about it. And yeah, just the fact that I took time, you know, to really think about like what it meant to me to make it, and to just open up a little bit. Like I said, it's not like a gospel record. It's not like this grandiose, like crazy, you know. I actually kind of think of it as almost a stripped down version of the music that I've been making. Is very stripped down, like, and I think that's like an energy or a vibe that people will get, is that it doesn't feel like there's a lot in between us as you listen, I guess, you know. So
tapped in. Yeah. Hey, everybody should tap in, you know, go listen, because as of this recording, this dropping at midnight tonight, on May 26th, but I'm not sure when this will be out. But either way, when you're listening to this, go listen to my boy's album EP, and Shine, man. Make sure you give it a listen, for real. And speaking of Shine a little bit here, to group it all together, you know, you talk about the collaboration of who you're working with, but in the overall picture, this is, I believe, going off of what the Facebook post said, at least I think I saw this, this is the first big project that the Gutter Collective is dropping officially, like completely from the Gutter Collective type stuff, you know? So
yeah, man.
Tell me a little bit about the Gutter Collective and what it means to you, and you being a part of that. You know, we had Jay on here the other day, so I want to hear kind of your side of things too.
Yeah, so the Gutter Collective consists of myself, Psychedelic Sidekick, our boy Zach, and then Rev. And it kind of like has been something that I think Rev had been wanting to build, and to put something together in order for us to start creating like more freedom, like financially, to do these things, and like to really get the fundamentals and like the base of making this like a full-time gig for us a reality, like to be a full-time musician, and to like be a touring act, and to, you know, be able to sustain this by other means rather than working like a 9-to-5, you know. That's the goal. So working with Rev on that, like, you know, he just talked to me about the opportunity and like what it meant, and what Gutter would do for me, and what I could do for the team, and, you know, it kind of went from there, and came to an agreement. And, you know, I just want to sing his praises as high as I can. Rev is like just the most like wholesome human. I look up to him in so many ways, like, hey, as an artist, as a man, as a father. Like, he's a great dude. And yeah, so
cool as fuck.
It made this album easy for me to put together, because, you know, like financially, you know, I didn't have to think about like, oh, how am I gonna pay for this session? How am I gonna, you know, do I need to work extra hours here or there to come up with the bread, or do I need to put this bill off to make this happen here, or whatever it is, right? Like,
especially being a father.
Yeah,
you know,
it's stressful, man.
Of course.
Trying to do those things, so not having to worry about that really allowed me to completely focus on the creative aspect of what I was doing, which, you know, unfortunately, like, not a lot of us have that luxury to do. So, you know, Rev literally was a huge catalyst, and Gutter was a huge catalyst in making this happen too. So, it helped to keep me in that headspace of positivity, and like never have to worry about any other part of it, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's awesome to be able to, you know, work closely with him as somebody I look up to, and to have him there to kind of guide me through. And then, yeah, obviously we just lift each other up. You know, Jay and I are brothers. You know, he brought me into this 3 years ago, actually. I think around this time he dropped Intentions, and that was a life-changing thing for me, like, to go from just sitting on my couch, like, rapping sometimes, and being able to, like, go around the region and play shows and meet people, and you know, to have the opportunity to do this. So yeah, it's just people like that. It's people like Rev. It's people like, you know, Ebola and Pro and the guys from Dad giving us opportunities, you know, and just without those guys, like, you know, I don't know how much of this groundwork would be laid without them, you know.
Right. The scene would look completely different without those guys.
They walked so we could run, you know. So, and they're still out here doing their thing. Like Rev's still out here dropping bangers, doing his thing.
For Rev.
And that's what I mean. Like, I look up to him as an artist crazy. Like, being able to work with him on Risk It All, which was a single for his project, was awesome. And shouts out to Rev. Reverend has a gig this Thursday, I think, at the Marquee.
Oh, dope.
Opening for Alien Ant Farm. So
okay, cool as fuck.
If this comes out before then, make sure you check it out. There's more information on Gutter Collective's Facebook, or you can go to Reverend's page, and there's stuff on there. So
yeah, and shout out everybody from the Gutter Collective over there. What does success look like to you? Kind of like, I guess you kind of did explain, you know, somewhat of kind of what the end goal is in a way, you know, you kind of just spreading the message, not doing this for yourself, but doing this for like a higher power. But what does the success look like to Gifo? Maybe even on a daily basis, or, you know, the outcome of, you know, you making music.
Yeah, I mean, I just want my family to be happy. I want to be happy myself too, which if they're happy, everybody's taken care of. Yeah, I'm good. And I just want to make the art that I want to make, and no matter where that takes me, like, to me, it's been a success because it does what I intended for it to do for me, you know.
Right.
And as long as as long as it glorifies him, and then that's all that matters to me. Like, you know, it's to me, honestly, genuinely, like, yeah, money is good. Like, money would be good to have a lot more of it. But, you know, it's funny. I definitely remember now. The conversation I had was this morning, and, you know, I was thinking about, like, just kind of like the chapter I'm in my life right now.
Yeah.
You know, my kids are young. They're 4, almost 6. And, you know, I have, my dog just had puppies. I have 12 puppies in my backyard right now.
Crazy. It's like a whole rug.
And it's chaos, dude. Like, you know, my life is literal chaos. And sometimes it's, you know, I'm overstimulated or I'm tired, and, you know, I gotta get up early to make time for the things that I want to do. Like, go to the gym. I gotta get up at 4 before work, or like, you know, I want to go to the studio. Well, then that means I gotta stay out till 10 or 11. And then guess what? I gotta get up at 4 if I want that other thing tomorrow still. And sometimes it's a lot, you know, and I don't know. Even with, like, having my faith and, like, you know, drawing power from that, like, it's tough. I'm a human. Sometimes I wake up and I'm pissed off. Sometimes things make me upset. Sometimes like, you know, maybe I'm more upset than I should be, or, you know, just a human, right? But what I told my friend today was, like, right now, even though sometimes it's crazy, and, like, you know, I'm at this point in my life where, like, you know, I'm about to be 29 this year. Like, in 10 years, I'm going to look back at these times where I'm overstimulated. I got puppies biting my feet. My kids are fighting in the corner. You know, something's burning inside. Yeah. The grass is too long. I'm tired, like, and I'm going to look back at these times and I'm going to be like, damn, like, where did they go? Mm-hmm. You know? And, like, I really feel like this that I'm living right now is, like, that part of my life that I'm always going to think about. Yeah. When I'm in every chapter after, like, you know, everything that led up to this, to these years with my boys and with my wife and with my family, and you know, the years leading up and then the years after this, when they don't think I'm cool anymore, when, you know, they're out the house, or, you know, they don't want to spend time with us anymore, or whatever it is, like, mm-hmm. Like, these are the times I'll think about, like, when I get there. And you know, to me, as long as I make it through this hard time that to me is hard, but to them, like, they don't know it's hard. Like,
Yeah, they chill.
to them, it's their life, right? And as long as they get through these years, I keep them alive, and they become young men that can go out there and be good humans and carry that on, and that's success, dude. Like,
All right.
that's it. Like, that's what's important to me. And the rest of it, whatever extra blessings that like get like put on me, then that's just extra.
I'll take that shit too.
Yeah. I'll take that too. But
For sure.
yeah, man, as long as I make it through this part of my life, like the real heart of my life is what it feels like, right? Like, this is the important time. This is the time where I have to be like my best version now.
Yeah.
Then that's success, as long as I make it through that.
That's a good way to see that shit.
Yeah.
That's a nice picture you painted right there, for real. And I feel like what is success is a great question for everybody, because
Yeah.
that's like your own heaven. You know what I mean? It's almost like your own heaven on earth type of thing. And I like that, bro, for real. So with that being said, golden moment of your life, you're saying, what's to plan for as far as like Gifo as an artist? What's to plan for here coming up in the future here?
Yeah, so this year, this is getting this project finished and put out has been like my number one priority, but I have a couple of opportunities coming up. June 15th, we have the free show at the Hard Rock. It'll be Why Not, Psychedelic Sidekick, myself, and then Dad. It's at Anthem. It's a free show, June 15th. Get your babysitters, whatever, come up. And then
y'all there, for real.
Yeah, that's incredible opportunity. It's not very often, I don't think, that a lot of local acts get to perform at the Hard Rock. Like,
Hell no.
it's probably the best stage that we have in town.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to the opportunity.
Have you performed at the Hard Rock? First time?
First time.
Cherry Pop? Damn, my boy. That shit gonna be nice.
Yeah, I'm excited.
dope.
Man. And yeah, big shouts out to Dad, Jason.
Hey, shout out.
Mark,
Shout out, Dad.
bro. And then we have King ISO's coming back to Sioux City on June 21st. Be at the Marquee. We have Psychedelic Sidekick will be at that. Crisis will be at that. Myself, Fort Horn Nation will be there. Shouts out to those guys. And I have physical tickets. Anybody needs them that's local, you can hit me up on whatever platform that you have me on. I'll try to get them to you. And other than that, man, we have Reverend's going to be on the Abe stage at Saturday in the Park this year.
Ooh,
Gutter Collective.
nice. Good announcement.
Yeah, so definitely, obviously, you're going to be there. Come check it out. I'm sure the lineups will be out sometime soon as far as the time slots that people get. So other than that, I would just like to see everybody come out to Hard Rock or Marquee or
Saturday in the Park
or at the Abe stage to support Rev.
Yes, sir. Speaking of King ISO show, is that the same lineup that we had last year or the year before that?
It's close. I think Jay wasn't
right.
Psych didn't do that one last year.
Okay,
although I think he did do a song with me.
That's why I think I might have.
I think
remember him.
If I'm remembering right, he came out of nowhere. Like he was just in the crowd.
Oh, bro.
He had like his hood on. Nobody knew he was there. And then I just handed him the mic real quick, all subtly as hell. He just started rapping. It was actually...
Everyone's like, oh, shit, the return.
Yeah. That was an epic one. I was just thinking about that.
Nah,
and, Crisis, though, he was there. Forewarned was there.
Right.
I feel like I'm missing somebody.
Shout out both of them boys.
Yeah.
Or all three of them boys. Or the whole label.
Yeah.
Forward.
Like, they got Levi.
Yeah.
Rowdy. Fetty. Is that Gavin guy on their label too?
Honestly, I've heard it a couple times where they told me exactly who's on there, but I don't know.
I think Gavin is on there too. Shout out to him, bro. He's dope as hell. Definitely an artist like that can do a couple of genres. Really, like I never met that dude, but I definitely seen a few videos and a cool clip. So shouts out to him. But yeah, man. And shouts out to Nice Enough, Justin, Wendell. And,
Shout out, my boy.
Great dude. So, yeah, man, I'm excited. ISO's one of my favorite rappers.
Me too.
I've never been, like, a big fan of, like, Chopper, like, rap, like, really fast or, like, all that. But he just finds a way to make it, I don't know. He does it in a way that I actually really enjoy.
Hell yeah.
So that's, it's a unique sound. When I first started listening to ISO, I was like, I'm surprised that I like this, because some of the stuff that I heard was like him rapping faster and stuff like that. And then the more I got into the catalog, I was like, I'm not surprised I like this, because this is really fucking good.
His personality, for me, gives it a lot.
Yeah, he's dope.
Struggling with shit and everything. Like, I'm like, oh, I got that one hit.
Humble giant.
Yeah. So, Table of the Truth.
Dope.
I hope I said his name right. But, yeah. Badass motherfucker.
Yeah, he's dope too.
I like his music.
He's tall as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I was surprised.
Hopefully he comes through too, but yeah, that fool's.
Oh, he'll be there. Yeah, he'll be there too.
Yeah.
Table will be there as well.
Hey.
There's a few people on the tour.
That's what's up.
That are coming with him.
What kind of advice would you have for, like, anybody out there? We asked you this a couple times as well, but let me hear it, man. Like, just to either the modern man out there, modern woman listening to this, just the people that vibe with you, through the lens there. Tell them a little bit of advice, moving through life, not even as like an artist necessarily, but just a person,
Just,
advice from Gifo, man.
Advice from Gifo, dang. Finally at the place in life where my advice is maybe somewhat helpful.
Hey, why?
I've given some bad advice before. I mean, yeah, just don't be afraid to challenge yourself to be more, and like demand that from yourself.
Yeah.
And don't give yourself the option to take it easy on yourself. Like, yeah, I think people just hear that too much. Like, oh, take it easy. It's okay. You did your best. Like, yeah, like, if that's all you could give and you gave it, then that's cool. But, like, deep down, if you did.
Yeah.
Deep down, if you're bullshitting or not. So just don't be afraid to challenge yourself and to be you, and just be that authentic version of yourself. And yeah, you know what you have to do. I mean, listen to that little voice in your head that's telling you, like, you got to do more, because you do. We all really need to. So
yeah,
that would be it. And obviously, everybody's entitled to be beholden to whatever drives them, but like, find that source. Find that source. For me, I shared what it is for me. You got to find it for yourself, and just follow that. Get your strength from that, and just keep going.
Mm-hmm. I like I forgot the bar, man. I'm gonna butcher it, but it's some good mentality where they go. It's from Lil Wayne. Someone's gonna find the bar, or someone which might know it. But it's something like where he says, "I'll stop hustling when I'm tired, but they say you're not hustling until you're tired."
Hey,
you know what I mean?
Lil Wayne.
So it's like, shit, you gotta keep going for real. You gotta stay hungry out here. You still see 50 Cent dropping shit.
Hey, I think he is 50 now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think...
I just aged myself, I feel like.
Yeah, bro. 50 Cent, bro. Shut up, 50 Cent, for real. But nah, like, for real, you gotta have that hustler's mentality if you want to be out here, doing this shit too, especially performing and shit, Like, you gotta sign yourself up to these performances out here and get your name known. You gotta be hungry out here, But yeah, Gifo, for real, I appreciate all the advice you be dropping on us. Man. Coming through to, have this talk and everything, and be on the camera with me and everything, because this wouldn't be anything without y'all coming through, So I appreciate it, for real. I like that the community, we can still vibe, we can still conversate, still have different events where we're all coming out. I don't know. I fuck with community, bro, It's great. At the end of the day, there is some shits that I would be like, oh, let's change that, but as it is right now, I feel like we're in a good moment of an era where we're all just chilling a little bit.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, send you too, and it is nice, man. You know, it's we respect. I think I can speak for all of us in a way when I say like we can all respect that work ethic. You know,
Yeah.
when we see people really working, taking
Right.
the time, making the sacrifices like we mentioned before, like logically we're gonna respect that, and you know we'll welcome that with open arms every time.
Yeah, I think a lot of the backgrounds that we have from the people around here that be on some like artistry, just more in like the hip hop area, you know, like I'm not really talking about like people like indie or anything like that.
I don't
you
know the
around
band
here.
scene that well.
You know what I mean? The band scene and shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'd be tapped into hip hop and shit, whatever, rap or whatever. But in that kind of that, you know, the mindset of the people that I'm surrounded around, it's kind of like a hustler's mentality, and I think you get that from the background that's built with you, you know. And I feel like the people around me are hungry. They're like, I see everybody around me, and they want to do shit. They want to be a part of things. They want to go out and be outside and shit like that. So that's what keeps me motivated, you know, seeing everybody keep this shit going, because sometimes it does get hard where you are having like 3-4 hours of sleep at night, you know, but you still have to, how you said, record in the booth, but then still get up at 4 if you want to handle the other thing you want to do. Yeah. So the balance of catering to both things, your hobbies and your work life, is still a thing to master for myself, at least, you know. Yeah. But once it switches where it's like the hobby's greater than the work life, that's when it's going to be like, oh shit, you know?
Then you're living your best life and you're thriving.
Yeah, because then you could do this shit, you know, full time. But for me, the full time, like I could be like, you know, fuck it, let's go full time and we just do this shit. But for me, full time means you got to cater to people to pay your rent, you know? And at the moment, I want this to be something where we sit down, we have a chat like this, and shit's dope, where there's not too much pressure on it, than to be like, oh, I don't like this about this or that, you know, and then like cater, like nitpicking at everything, and me be like, I'm gonna just listen because I need to get paid, you know, like I like to be involved and have the conversations over ideas, but I like freedom, you know, I like more freedom with it. But yeah, I was talking to my homie about that shit today too. But yeah, bro. But this has been the Nastycollective podcast, man. Thank you guys for going through the whole experience with us here today. If you made it this far, man, I appreciate you.
Yeah, no cap.
Have a good ass time for real, because I know some people be listening to this whole bitch through, and I'm like, damn. I'm like, I appreciate it, because I gotta listen to this bitch at least like 3 times.
Yeah,
at least 3 times before we upload it. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all listening through, and appreciate Gifo coming in. Man, y'all have a blessed day. We out here. We out, y'all. With that being said, dose.